Hey everyone, this is Rabbitearsblog. Welcome to my TV episode review series. Today's TV episode review is going to be on the second episode of the Flash TV series, Fastest Man Alive. Now, before I get into my review for this episode, I just like to give out a brief update on this my TV episode review videos. So, I mentioned in my past few videos that once Constantine premieres, I was going to start posting up my TV episode reviews every Friday because I thought at the time that Constantine was going to premiere on Thursdays. But it turns out it's actually going to premiere every Fridays. So now that means I'm going to move my TV episode reviews on every Saturday instead of every Friday. So when Constantine premieres, I will be having my TV episode reviews every Saturday instead of every Friday like I originally planned. So keep a lookout for that. When Constantine premieres. And also, I just like to give out a shout out that Flash has become the CW's number one highest rated show for the pilot. The pilot episode had ranked number one on CW, and I like to congratulate all the crew who worked on the Flash pilot. And this is probably a great honor for the crew who worked on the Flash pilot. So congratulations. So what is this episode about? Well, basically, in this episode, Barry Allen finds this man who's able to duplicate himself into many different versions of himself. And while Barry wants to fight this man so he can protect it from, so he can make sure that this man doesn't kill this important businessman, his father figure, Detective West, Iris's father, forbids Barry from actually trying to save the world because he doesn't want Barry to get hurt. And Barry Allen's like telling him, you don't need to tell me what to do because I want to be the superhero I want to be, and you're not my father, and everything like that. So it was pretty interesting seeing all that dynamic. So that's basically what this episode is all about, is Barry trying to stop this man who's able to multiply himself from killing this important businessman while also fighting with Detective West about whether or not he should be doing this or not. So, what are my thoughts about this episode? Well, let's talk about the positives of this episode. For one thing, I really liked how the show is still able to retain its lighthearted tone. What I've always wanted from the Flash TV series was that it was more light. That it should have been more lighter in tone than Arrow, because I always believe that the Flash is a character who's very lighthearted, and I think the show is doing a very good job at capturing that. Like, I really like how the episode opens up with Barry telling the audience, I'm the fastest thing in life, and he's like cracking jokes and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed how the episode opens up, and you could tell that this show is going to be lighter and softer than Arrow. And that was something I really liked about this show so far, is that it's the lighter counterpart to Arrow's darker counterpart. So I like how this show is still showing all that, and why it's still showing some dramatic scenes in the episode 2. And what I also liked about this episode was seeing the relationship between Barry and Detective West. Like, I like seeing how Detective West is trying to be a father to Barry Allen, despite the fact that he knows that Barry's father's in jail, and Barry's trying to do everything in his power to make sure that his father gets released from jail, since he knows that his father didn't really kill his mother. So I really liked how Detective West was trying to protect Barry from hurting himself and becoming a superhero, and then you see Barry is trying to lash out at Detective West for like stopping him from becoming a hero. So it was great seeing that intensity between Detective West and Barry Allen, and I think both actors gave it their all when they were acting out that scene. Like, I was literally on the edge of my seat trying to figure out, what Detective West and Barry Allen make up at the end of the episode. And you can just see how much Detective West really cares for Barry Allen, despite the fact that Barry Allen's not really his son. So you can see that he does treat Barry like his own son. And I really like seeing that character relationship between Detective West and Barry Allen, because it really makes me feel a lot for both characters. And you can see the situation they're in. Detective West wants to take care of Barry after his father got put in jail, and you can see that Barry's still trying to get his father out of jail while he wants to be a superhero. So that was like probably the most interesting thing about this episode. Another thing I really liked about this episode is that they're still trying to figure out who killed Barry Allen's mother. I like how that story arc is like connected to all these episodes so far. Is able to give us a story arc that we can try to figure out on our own. Like, we try to figure out who killed Barry Allen's mother and how they're gonna figure that out. What they're gonna what is each episode going to provide clues into who killed Barry Allen's mother. I probably have a good clue who might have killed Barry Allen's mother, but we're waiting to see until more episodes develop and they give us more clues. But that's a pretty interesting premise. Like if you read the comics, that's basically the gist of Barry Allen's backstory is trying to find out who really killed his mother and try to prove that his dad is actually innocent. So I liked how that episode really developed that mystery in the spawn of 2 episodes, and it just makes me really want to tune into the Flash every week because I want to find out who really killed Barry Allen's mother and why that person killed Barry Allen's mother. So that's something I like to see develop over the show over time. And another thing I liked about this episode is the mystery of Professor Zoom. Now, I like how they're doing these stingers at the end of the episodes. I'm not going to reveal too much about what happened at the end because I don't want to spoil it, but the stinger does involve Professor Zoom. And you're wondering, who is Professor Zoom? What kind of character is he? Is he really there to help Barry Allen, or is he there to do whatever he wants? And does he have plans for Barry Allen? So you wonder what kind of character Professor Zoom is, and I like how they making all these stingers about Professor Zoom doing all these mysterious things that the whole crew don't know about. So that's a really interesting development, and I like to see how they're going to develop that in the future episodes. Now, some negative things about this episode. I didn't really have a negative thing to say about this episode, but I guess if there was something I didn't like about from the pilot is Iris's relationship with this other guy. I felt like, at this point, why do we need to have a storyline where Iris is like dating this other guy, and it's obvious that Barry has feelings for Iris and he can't be able to spit it out. And I felt like, that's not really necessary. Do we really need a love triangle for the series? Can we just focus on the Barry Allen and the Iris brother or sister relationship and see where that goes in the next few episodes? I like to see more of that, and I feel like having the love triangle between Barry Allen, the guy, and Iris is just feels a little unnecessary at this point. I don't know, maybe they might actually do something with it in the future episodes. But I never did like love triangles to begin with, so that's probably one of my pet peeves with this whole thing is, do we have to have a love triangle? Can we just get a superhero show where there's no love triangles at all? I like to see a superhero show that doesn't deal with that, but this is the CW we're talking about, so I guess we couldn't really avoid that. But still, do we have to have a love triangle? But again, we'll see what this develops, and I don't know, maybe I might like it, but that's rare because I don't care for love triangles that much. So, what I thought about this episode, I give this episode a thumbs up. I really enjoyed this episode. I've been enjoying the Flash show since the pilot air. Each episode is so interesting to me. I love the way that they developed the mystery around Barry Allen's mother's death and around Professor Zoom as a character. And I'm loving the lighthearted tone of the series so far. So I'm definitely going to tune in next week for the another new episode of The Flash. This is just one of those series that's really kept me glued to my seat ever since the premiere. So that's my review on the Flash episode, Fastest Man Alive. And be sure to follow me on Twitter so I can keep you updated on any new videos I post up. And also tune in every Thursday for new TV episode reviews from me, Rabbitearsblog. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. This is Rabbitearsblog, and I'll see you later.